Alright, you guys, here we go. Let's talk about Ghostbusters.
Back row corner seat. Movie reviews from the far side.
Alright, you guys, let's start out with the details. Ghostbusters is a Paul Feig film. He is also responsible for bringing us such films as The Heat, probably most noticeably Bridesmaid, as well as Spy. So this film is a reboot of the 1980s classic Ghostbusters, and it stars Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones, and Chris Hemsworth. So in this film, much like the original, the four ladies discover that there are ghosts in New York City. Now they come to this conclusion through different means, but eventually they all have an encounter with the ghosts, and they notice that more ghosts are starting to pop up around the city. So the ladies come together and form the Ghostbusters, and they decide that they are going to help rid New York City of these ghosts. They soon discover that there is actually a madman that is trying to open a dark portal and flood the city with ghosts. Along the way, they hire a secretary, which is Chris Hemsworth, and the team is complete. I actually wanted to see this movie because I thought, man, it's really cool that they have an all-female Ghostbusters team, and I wanted to see how they were going to develop this reboot as a result of that. I think the movie is fairly smart in its script. There are a lot of quippy lines that you might not catch when the stars of the film are interacting with each other. They're pretty smart. I thought the script in the film was pretty smart, so I will give that to the film as well. I also thought that Chris Hemsworth was hilarious in this film. For me, he was the comic anchor of this movie. Everything he did was funny. Now, some folks complained about that because they said that they thought it was overkill, but I think they misinterpreted what was going on there. I think that they looked at his character as being seen as someone that was just trying to be established as kind of dim-witted, and once that was done, we should have just left it alone. It was too much to keep showing that part of his personality. But I think that was precisely the point, that this was a part of his personality. So it wasn't going to come and go. It was a part of who he was, and thus we see him kind of acting in these very, very strange and inept ways throughout the whole film. And that's what made his character so funny. So I thought that was well done. And as I said, he was the comedic anchor in this film for me. He was the one that was most hilarious in this film.
Here is your coffee, Abby.
Thank you. Did you get sugar in it this time?
I hate coffee. Yeah, the sugar's in it.
Sugar's in it.
Now let's talk about some of the problems I had with this film. Initially, this film felt hollow to me, and I couldn't really figure out why, and then I figured it out. This film lacks a dark undertone. That's the problem with this film. It's too light. It's too airy. It's Ghostbusters. If we think about Ghostbusters 1, one of the things that we noticed about this film, and you may not have even noticed it while you were watching it, but I bet if you think back to it, it'll resonate with you, is that the film kind of had this dark undertone. This film lacks that, which for me makes the film a little bit flat. And it also hurts the pacing of this film. The film feels long and in some parts boring. But I think that had it had that undertone, it would have escaped having that pegged as one of the problems of this film. Finally, the problem I had with this movie was the CGI of the ghosts. They were very, oh man, I don't even know how to describe it, lackluster. I mean, it really looked fake. One thing we need from CGI in Ghostbusters is we really need the ghosts to look very engaging, real, and believable. I mean, it's Ghostbusters, and I think that the film really missed an opportunity to really use what we can do with CGI today to show off some amazing features cinematically in this film. So the film was just okay. It wasn't terrible, and that seems to be the general sentiment about this film. I'm giving Ghostbusters a 6 out of 10. I think this one can wait for video or Redbox. Thank you so much for visiting Movie Reviews from the Far Side. This is Al, and if you enjoyed this review, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and make sure you comment, and don't forget to subscribe. And finally, make sure you hit the movies this weekend and enjoy yourself. Bye-bye.